On April 30th, 1662, Princess Mary was born into a kingdom divided by faith, destined to change the course of English history. Raised in Protestant faith by order of her uncle King Charles II, young Mary's childhood seemed carefree and innocent. At 9 years old, Mary lost her mother and Hyde, leaving her father James to raise 2 Protestant daughters alone. Her father's remarriage to a Catholic princess deepened the religious divide that would define Mary's life and reign. Educated in languages, music, and Protestant theology, Mary developed the intelligence and faith that would guide her future decisions. Tall and graceful, Mary excelled in the courtly arts, beloved by all who knew her for her kindness. As she matured, Mary's portrait was painted for potential suitors, her future a matter of political negotiation. At 15, Mary learned she would marry her cousin William of Orange, a match she received with tears of despair. Her first meeting with William was cold and formal, her husband-to-be 12 years older and consumed by political ambition. Mary wept throughout her wedding ceremony, leaving England and childhood behind for an uncertain future in Holland. Arriving in Holland through winter storms, Mary entered a foreign land of different language and customs, far from home. Her new home was grand but austere, reflecting William's serious nature and the practical Dutch character. Determined to win her new people's hearts, Mary threw herself into learning Dutch language and customs with characteristic devotion. The Dutch people, initially skeptical of this English princess, gradually warmed to her genuine kindness and Protestant faith. Despite her prayers, Mary remained childless, a private sorrow she bore while performing public duties with grace. Through constant correspondence, Mary maintained her deep bond with sister and, sharing news and political intelligence across the sea. William's endless military campaigns against Louis XIV left Mary to rule Holland alone, a role she performed with unexpected skill. As regent in William's absence, Mary discovered her talent for governance, earning respect through wisdom and decisive leadership. When her father became King James II of England, Mary faced an impossible conflict between filial duty and Protestant faith. James's Catholic policies horrified Mary, but William saw opportunity in England's growing discontent with its Catholic king. News of her cousin Monmouth's failed rebellion and brutal execution revealed the ruthlessness of her father's reign. The birth of a Catholic Prince of Wales changed everything, threatening to establish a permanent Catholic dynasty in England. English Protestant nobles secretly invited William to invade, asking Mary to choose between her father and her faith. In agonized prayer, Mary wrestled with the choice to support William's invasion against her own father and king. As William sailed with his invasion fleet, Mary remained behind to govern Holland and pray for bloodless victory. For weeks Mary waited in agony, torn between hope and fear, knowing England's fate hung in the balance. William landed at Torbay on November 5th, claiming to defend Protestant religion and English liberties from Catholic tyranny. When James fled England rather than fight his daughter and son-in-law, Mary's relief mixed with guilt and grief. Invited to claim the English throne, Mary prepared to return home as queen of the nation she'd left as a weeping bride. After 12 years, Mary bid farewell to Holland, the foreign land that had become her home and molded her into a ruler. Returning to England after 12 years, Mary was no longer the tearful girl who'd departed, but a mature woman ready to rule. Walking through her father's abandoned palace, Mary struggled with the reality of her position as usurper of his throne. Mary shocked advisors by refusing to rule alone, insisting William be crowned king, not merely prince consort. In an unprecedented ceremony, William and Mary were crowned joint sovereigns, the only time in English history two monarchs ruled as equals. By accepting the Declaration of Rights, Mary and William transformed England from absolute to constitutional monarchy, securing Protestant succession. Her beloved sister Anne, influenced by the Churchills, grew cold toward Mary, their childhood bond strained by politics and precedents. James landed in Ireland with French support, rallying Catholic forces and threatening to reclaim his throne by force. As William departed to face her father in battle, Mary became sole ruler of England during the greatest crisis. News of William's victory at the Boyne brought relief and renewed sorrow as her father fled defeated to France. Her father would live out his days in French exile, never forgiving Mary for what he saw as her betrayal. With William fighting abroad, Mary ruled England alone with confidence and skill that surprised even her supporters. Mary took personal interest in naval affairs, strengthening England's fleet to counter French dominance at sea. Though devoutly Protestant, Mary advocated religious moderation, opposing extremists who wanted harsh persecution of Catholics and dissenters. Mary founded the Royal Hospital for Seamen at Greenwich, showing her care for disabled sailors and their families. Mary brought elegance and culture to the English court, hosting concerts, promoting arts, and setting standards of taste. Working with architect Christopher Wren, Mary transformed Hampton Court Palace, creating the magnificent Baroque palace we know today. Mary's passion for collecting Delftware and Chinese porcelain influenced English taste and popularized these decorative arts. At Kensington Palace, Mary created magnificent gardens combining Dutch and English styles, personally overseeing. Mary chartered the College of William and Mary in Virginia, extending English education to the American colonies. When smallpox swept London in 1694, Mary refused to leave, instead organizing relief for victims and their families. Mary personally visited hospitals and distributed charity, her genuine compassion winning hearts throughout the kingdom. The Christmas of 1694 saw Mary at the height of her powers and popularity.